early requirements moving towards tenderfoot, and it's having that good relationship and starting a good foundation that helps our young scouts be so successful. And Tommy did a really good job with that. From there, Tommy moved up into the senior leadership positions, finally serving as senior patrol leader. Tommy, you've definitely grown into a fine young man as a scout, and I'm really proud of you. But you guys can't give me a chance to stand up and talk without me turning it into some sort of a sermon, sort of a thought for the day kind of thing. So hang on with me for just a minute, and we'll see if we can put this together. In thinking about growth for this talk today, led me to think about inner growth, that we need to have that inner growth as human beings. And thinking about that growth brought me back to thinking about the Scout Law. And I've been talking about important elements within the Scouting program. I think that the Scout Law is one of the most important things that we can carry away from this organization with us after we leave. The Scout Law is a code, or if you will, a set of signposts for how we can live our lives. There's another rule that we're all familiar with that actually sort of encapsulates the Scout Law into a single sentence. That sentence goes something like, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. We know that rule as the golden rule. The Scout Law is more specific, it's more granular, and it gives specifics for scouts to strive to live up to. Things like trustworthy, loyal, friendly, cheerful, kind, and so on. Scouts are supposed to live up to this set of 12 specifics that we call the Scout Law. And we recite this at every meeting, and we really hope that it doesn't turn into something that we just recite without putting some thought into it. But in thinking about Tommy and growth and so on, I sort of realized that the Scout Law is like a social contract. The Scout Law is really not just focused on me. I am trustworthy, I am loyal. It's important that as scouts and as people, we be concerned with how the person on the other side is perceiving us. Is that other person seeing me as being friendly or as being trustworthy? It's a very important thing. When I met Tommy the first time, it was summer camp, and we were at Lost Valley, and it was in July or August of 2001, and B. Reed, who was the scoutmaster before I was, B and I were standing in line, the chow line, getting ready to go into the dining hall at Lost Valley, and this young man in line turned around and just started talking to us. And that was the very first time, and we actually seemed to wind up being in the chow line right about the same place at a number of different meals. Well, about the second day we were there, we started hearing about troubles that Tommy was having with his former troop, which actually at this point no longer exists. There was a lot of teasing. There were, incidents of being seriously picked on. We actually witnessed some of his gear being run up the flagpole. The problem was Tommy was distressed. This was no fun for him. He really, really was unhappy. And in thinking about Tommy's growth and how the Scout Law thing all fits together, I sort of feel like for him, that social contract was broken. Tommy, at that point in his scouting career, and very young in his scouting career, was not a recipient of the Scout Law. So, the message I would like everybody to take away from this today is that we don't just recite the Scout Law. A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly. But we need to think about it in terms of